How would you recommend someone who's, maybe they're taking their life really seriously and they're like, oh, I want to make more money. I want to be more productive. I want to be healthier. And they're not incorporating play at all into their life. How would you suggest that they get started, getting comfortable with playing again?
So actually started, in fact, it was really funny because I actually started writing a book on this, and I had this concept of, I thought of play as like, the symbol play, which you see it on, VCRs, on
Mm.
your the symbol triangle of play. So the way I looked at it in my own life as an adult, I first needed to stop, right? So I first needed to stop doing everything that I was doing that was work oriented, right? So in this case, in my own case as an unplayful adult, I had to actually imagine, I had to stop everything that I'm doing that was serious and work oriented. And I did that by imagining that I was dead,
Mm.
right? I mean, this again started because the whole COVID thing. So I lost an uncle, a very close uncle, just before COVID struck.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
sorry.
my I had a couple of cats die on me at the same time. So all of a sudden, it was something very real, very close, and it was happening all over the world. Not that it doesn't happen before that, but it just was very in my face at this point of time. And I said, hey, so initially it started off as a very factual thing. Okay, look, if someone dies, what do I need to do? And I was suddenly dealing with all of these things, their belongings, their leases, managing all the logistics of it. And then it struck me, so what if I go? What if I die tomorrow, right? So then I started making like a will. I started making like a digital will just in case, because like, and then it struck me, what if I'm already dead? So it just happened, a thought in my head, right? That imagine I'm dead. So this is something that I actually do quite often. It's one of my favorite meditations where I meditate that I'm already dead.
Hmm.
And it struck me at that point of time that if I'm dead, there's a full stop to my life. And at that point of time, rather than move forward, I can actually rewind and look back at my past. Right? So everyone says those, that when you die, your life flashes before your eyes. Like no one really knows because no one's ever come back to tell us this, if that's true or not. But I think it's quite commonly accepted that when you die, there's a white light, or there's like you see your life flashing by your eyes, and it struck me that maybe that's the rewind I need to hit.
Mm.
So first, if I'm unplayful, I hit stop, and then I hit rewind. I go back into my childhood, make peace with my past, and remember the child in me, right? And that's how I started writing. In fact, that's how I came online. That's how I started writing. I started doing the morning pages. I jumped on board David Perel's Write a Passage, and I started writing, started making friends online and communicating. It started off with writing because that was something that I used to do as a child, and I used to draw and paint as a child. So I started illustrating. I started playing with my iPad. I started playing with colors. So again, that brings me to the play that I'm talking about, right? So when we
Mm.
talk about play, we can't really jump into play directly from work. I think that's when things get derailed and people feel disoriented because you're already moving in one direction. And if you suddenly change gears without stopping or without slowing down and without reorienting yourself, it tends to fail, right? So after I stopped, rewound, and then I started playing. And I think, let's just take for now, right now, right? If I were to make this a lot more playful, and we are now talking with each other, right? So we're playing with sound,
Hmm.
but we are stuck within the parameters of the English language, and we're both just playing with 26 alphabets
Yeah.
pronounced a certain way, right? So imagine if I were to play with you right now and talk to you in a language that you don't understand. I go, I have no idea what I just said. You have no idea what I just said. But I'm just playing right now with the medium that we both are involved in, right? So you can play with sound, right? You can play with, you can play with objects around you. You can just like pick up, like right now I'm in front of the computer and I'm looking at the screen, and what if I were to move back? What if I move in front? What if I were to move this way? What if I move this way? I'm now, yeah, there you go. Yeah. See, so you're now exploring, you're playing with the space around you, right? So there's a certain sense of spatial play where I figure, what if I, how would I feel if I look at you like this? How would I feel if I look at you like this? What happens if I lean forward? So in a sense, the moment you start doing something silly and irreverent, you've just teleported yourself into the play space. So if you ask me, the easiest way for an unplayful adult to be playful again is just get irreverent and silly. We're on a podcast, you're recording, I'm, a guest who's supposed to be, making this a significant production, contributing to something that becomes, something that people are going to look at, share, talk about, and learn from. And I'm being silly, and I think that's the easiest way. The moment you start becoming silly, it's the easiest way possible to jump into a play space.
Awesome. You almost have to break down this, like, there's like a wall of seriousness, and once you make funny noises or play with the space around you, then you break that wall, and suddenly it's okay for everyone to start playing again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
But if you were to like think of it in terms of actual, like, I gave you an example of sounds and sounds, but we could do anything, right? We could play with colors. Like for example, I don't know, I have just a single light right now, but I recently got like black lights put in my room, so I could like turn the whole thing into like like a freaky 70s kind of a
Nice.
setup. And we could play with identities. Right now, I'm like I'm here talking about play, or I could just now, for the next instant, I could just pretend that I'm an investment banker and who's talking to you about stocks and shares and trading. And
Very serious.
yeah, very, very serious. And, like I'm giving you serious tips which could make you a hell of a lot of money, man.
Yep.
You better listen to me.
Oh, what stock should I buy, man?
Buy my stocks. It's going to go up. Everyone's want to play.
Everyone invests in Ready to Go. It's guaranteed return.
So I think this is something, you could play with breath, right? So now, right now we're all breathing. That's something that's common we have with each other. So I could like take deep breaths. I could go like, I could imagine I'm breathing like a dog. So like dogs go like, they have rapid breathing. So it's like, right? So it's like rapid exhalation, right? I don't know. I mean, like you could just play. You could just be like, I could just hold my breath and pretend guess what? I'm not going to breathe. Right? I'm like that. I'm not going to breathe as long as I can. So it's something you could do anything. You don't need a toy. You don't need a tool. You don't need technology. You don't need even a space, because right here, right now, we turn this space that we are confined in into our playground, right? And I made, this interaction between us into something. So right now, rather than, a podcast host and podcast guest, right now we're playmates who are like playing with each other. We're playing with sound, we're playing with, breathing, we're playing with movement, right? So, and together we're trying to create a playbook on how to play.